Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to bronze.
I'm moving too far. Get to glass. You're looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get to glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to bronze.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
What's happening, people? How you doing? Hope you're well. It's Wednesday here in London. What part of the world you're from? I don't know what day it is, but thanks for tuning in. I wasn't planning to do this video, but then I felt, you know what? So much happened yesterday evening that I feel that I need to. I'm actually going to make two videos. So this is just going to be a quick conversation about what happened yesterday. And the second video is going to be an actual visual explanation of what's actually happening with Tottenham, the first team and the academy and the alignment. All right. This is really exciting, by the way, this conversation we're quickly going to have. Let me quickly say hello to some people in the comments and then I'll get into it. Sorry if I'm a bit slow, guys. I've had a tiring day. So just bear with me. But anyway, good to have you all here watching. Big up to Rifled, Stixie, Dean Williams in the house, Reggae Squirrel, Aces in the house, Cold Shot, Dietrich Kane, how you doing? We've got Purple and Gold till we're sold. Lisa's in the house. How you doing, Lisa? Hope you're well. Big up to everyone watching. There's almost 100 people watching. We've only been going live 5 minutes, so God bless you all. So what basically happened yesterday? Mark Cousins is here. Jade O's here. Jack's here as well. Della Spurs has joined us. Norman, big up to all you guys. So yesterday I was at the Big up, David. How you doing? I hope you are well. I've just watched the penalty decision. It's 100% not penalty. Oh, well, listen. The Arsenal game's over. We got the point. Arsenal fans are being salty. Spurs fans, we shouldn't even have to defend what happened on the weekend, right? I don't care. What I do care about is what happened yesterday. So yesterday, I got invited to the Spurs Academy First Team Training Centre at Hotspur Way. I get to go there a few times a year. And over the years, I've built some really good contacts, people I can speak to, and I get a little bit of inside information. Now, I was there yesterday evening. Here we are outside the Academy, parking up. Took some pictures of the dome. That's the new media centre they've built to monitor people like myself on social media. I managed to smuggle in the one and only Brian Daigle. I took in Graham as well. Took a few photos outside the Academy. And I even took over the press office. There you go. Pretending to be Ange Postecoglou. Having a bit of fun and taking a few photos inside the Academy. All right. So I was there last night. And normally when I go to these events, what they do is they have some of the head coaches speak to us. But for the first time ever, right? First time, the Academy director led conversation. Now, this never happens at Spurs, right? It's always been one of the head coaches or one of the lead youth phase officers. But this time it was the Academy director. That never happens. So that in itself is a fundamental change within the Academy structure. So why am I doing this video? How many of you actually care about the Academy? Well, this isn't just about the Academy. This is about the first team. So during the conversation, he explained that for the first time ever, every single age group at Spurs, so we're going from under 9, under 10s up to under 21s, they now all play the exact same way. So fans and YouTubers that have been saying, we want a philosophy, we want an identity, the whole club should play the same way and the first team should play the same. Well, let me tell you something, people. It's happening. Spurs have done this. In the 10, 11 years I've been going to the Academy, to the first team training centre, I've never, ever, ever known Spurs to do this. What Spurs have always done is to focus on developing the individual football player. Let's develop an amazing footballer that can play in any system, in any formation, any tactics. And I agree with that. I don't see what's wrong with that. However, the new Academy director, Simon Davies, he basically, if you don't know who Simon Davies is, he's the guy on the right-hand side, the opposite side to Ange. So you've got Ange, Daniel Levy, Paratici, and there's Simon Davies, okay? Now, Simon Davies has got 10 years experience at Manchester City. He was there under Pellegrini, Mancini, and Pep Guardiola. So he's been Man City trained. He also spent 2 years with Anderlecht in Belgium, where he worked with Vincent Kompany. And guess where Vincent Kompany trained? Man City. He was going to go to Burnley and be the academy director under Vincent Kompany. However, Paratici picked up the phone. He told us this last night. Paratici picked up the phone and said, no, I want you at Spurs. Now he's the academy director at Spurs. And what he's done is Spurs are still developing the individual, because if you haven't got the technical, physical, social, psychological, tactical awareness as an individual, it doesn't matter what style of football you play. You'll never be good because you don't have the attributes of a footballer. But what he is introducing is a style of play throughout the club for the individuals that we're developing. So we're still developing the individual, but now there's a philosophy. So tomorrow's video, which if you want to watch, you can tune in tomorrow. It's called The New Spurs Philosophy. I'm going to explain to you and show you exactly what the philosophy is tomorrow. And I've got loads of images to show you. I'm going to show you exactly what Spurs are doing, because I spent yesterday there learning it and being told how it's going to work. And then I went to see it being coached. So I've got some great piece of information to share with you tomorrow. But I put my hand up and I asked Simon Davies and I said to him, look, all the years that I've come to Tottenham Hotspur, in the academy, in the training facility, we were always told that you must develop the individual because you don't know what the manager of the first team is going to do. Because Pochettino played a different way to Mourinho. Mourinho played a different way to Conte. Conte played a different way to Harry Redknapp. Harry Redknapp played a different way to Stellini. Ryan Mason played a different way to AVB. Every manager at Spurs has a different way of playing, which is why you at Spurs have always developed the individual. So my question to Simon Davies was, what happens if you put a philosophy in the academy, which you have, a style of play, but the first team manager doesn't play that way? And his answer was, that's exactly what happened at Man City when Mancini took over, and it just stopped what the academy was doing. And I said, well, that's pointless then. What's the point of this? So surely having Ange Postecoglou, who plays the same style as what you've just described, that now makes sense. It should allow more academy players to go into the first team. And he said, absolutely. So what happens if Ange leaves? Now, I said to Simon Davies in front of everyone, surely you can tell Daniel Levy to only hire managers that play football the same as the academy, right? The same philosophy. Everyone in the room started laughing and the conversation moved on. So when everyone left the room to go and watch and observe the coaching sessions, I went up to Simon Davies privately, and you can speak to Brian Daigle and Graham because I brought them both into the academy with me. They're my witnesses. And I said to him, I said, look, Simon, I'm all for Tottenham having a philosophy in the academy as long as the first team has the same philosophy. Ajax, Barcelona, they only really hire managers that play the Ajax way or the Barcelona way. So if the Tottenham way is going to be push and run, what Poch did when he was at Spurs, what Ange Postecoglou is doing now, if that's going to be the Spurs way, and this is what the academy kids are now going to learn as well, then surely you, as the academy director, when you're having meetings with Daniel Levy, you must be telling them, look, just hire managers that only play the Spurs way. And this is what he said to me, right? He said to me, that is what Spurs are going to do going forward. And his exact words were, if someone comes and headhunts Ange, because Ange does such a great job at Tottenham, one of the bigger clubs, you know, could be a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, whoever, if they come and take Ange one day, which worried me that he said that. Why would you even think that? That means they're already planning for Ange to be gone one day. I'm thinking just make sure Ange stays here as long as possible. Why must we let him get poached? Don't let him get poached. Keep him here for 10 years, right? But anyway, he then said that Daniel Levy has recognized that fans are happy with the way the team is playing. Fans are happy, and Daniel Levy's recognized that. So on that basis, he's only going to bring in managers that continue to play this style of football. So when we sacked Pochettino and we didn't bring in a manager that plays the same way as Poch, we brought in Jose and Conte, Stellini's and Masons, Daniel Levy has now recognized that can't happen again. And the continuation of style, philosophy, identity must happen even when Ange is gone. Because the academy is now playing that way. And we've never, ever, ever had that at Tottenham. I've been going there for 11 years. I've never heard Tottenham talk about a philosophy, about a style, and keeping it the same, and for it to filter into the first team. So the academy director has said to me that the club, he believes, are now going in this direction. People, even I'm happy to hear this, and I'm always criticizing Tottenham. So it looks like we now have a proper structure in place. And the best thing I heard, people, and it was music to my ears, was that, well, two things. With this new foundation that's been put in place by Simon Davies of a philosophy throughout the academy, a way of playing for each team, without taking away developing the individual, which is so important. We can't just stop doing that. And we're only really going to hire managers for the first team that now aligns with the academy. What he said to me is that they're only recruiting players into the academy that suit the system of how we're going to play. Oh my God. What have we as fans been saying for so long? You've got to sign players that fit the system. And that is how it should work. That's how it should always work. Looks like it's happening now. It looks like Spurs are actually going in the right direction. I can't believe it. We've been saying this for years. And the best thing he said, and this is the bit where everyone should get excited, okay? He spoke about how there's a big debate, a big argument, especially in youth football. Should you focus on development or winning? Now, I've always said you should focus on winning because at the end of the day, elite sport is about winning. Trophies are what you are measured on in terms of how much of a success your club is. So it's got to be about winning. But fans want pretty football. Fans want sexy football. Fans want to be entertained. It's not about winning. Well, this is what the new academy director said. Because every time I've been at Spurs, it's always been about development. It's always been about, can we create a player that can play Champions League football? It's always been about, if Spurs go to a tournament, the academy, the first thing they want to know is who was the best player at the tournament, not who won it. Well, the words from Simon Davies, our new academy director's mouth, were, I believe winning is more important than development. What is the point of all this development if the players and the team then don't win? What is the point of development if you then can't go and win with that development? Oh my God. We've actually got someone with a winning mentality in the fabric of the club. We've actually got someone in the club at a senior role who is installing the mindset. Yeah, play great football, play entertaining football, be creative, be a brilliant football player. But you've got to win. You've got to win with that. And guess what? Our under-21s are winning. Our under-18s are winning. And if you go and watch the under-21s and the under-18s, they're playing good football. The academy is aligning to what fans want. We've got a man in charge of the academy that's doing all the right things. And when I saw what he's teaching, and I'm, like I said, tomorrow, guys, if you want to see more about that, the new Spurs philosophy explained, make sure you tune in tomorrow and I will show you exactly what Spurs are doing. I'll even explain to you why we struggled for the first 30 minutes against Arsenal. I get it. I totally get it. But we've got a winner. We've got a winner running the academy. We've got someone that has brought a philosophy. He's been there for a year, Simon Davies. He's brought a philosophy. The fact that Ange has brought in, has come into the club, it makes sense. It aligns everything with the academy. So I can confirm Spurs are now teaching the academy players, the age groups, to all play the same way. They're still going to develop the individual player, 1v1 domination, because as Simon Davies confirmed yesterday, at any given stage on a pitch, there is a battle, a 1v1 battle, the striker versus the goalie, the winger versus the wing back, the striker versus the centre back, the holding mid versus the attacking mid. At any given stage in a match, there is a battle happening, any given place on the pitch. If you can develop 7 or 8 players that win those individual battles, then you're more likely to win the game. The more battles you win on the pitch, the more likely you are of winning the game. So they have to still develop the individual. But if you can also develop a way of playing, a winning way of playing, that's even better. And this is what this guy's bringing. The under-10s, the under-21s are all going to play the same way. Obviously, the under-21s are going to play far better because you can't teach a 10-year-old lots and lots of tactics. Their brain can't consume that kind of information. As you get older, tactics, formation, where to move the ball, you can develop that. And obviously, the older you get, the better you should be at it. So you can't quite teach everyone the same way, but you can teach everyone a way and it evolves into what you want it over the years, right? So Spurs now have a philosophy in the academy. Spurs are only going to hire managers that match the philosophy of the club as a whole, which is what the academy is doing now. Spurs are only going to recruit players that fit the system, the way of playing, the philosophy. So we might not necessarily go and buy the best player in the world, but we're going to buy a player who fits the system and can play well. And I'm going to say something I have never, ever... Oh, and we've got a winner sharing that mentality, saying, yes, develop, play good football, but you've got to win with it. Otherwise, what's the point? So those 4 things: a philosophy, you've got to win, we're only going to recruit players that fit the system, and we're still going to continue to develop the individual. Sorry, and the first team and the academy are aligned. So alignment, recruitment, philosophy, and winning mentality. So to repeat, alignment of first team and academy, a winning approach, recruiting players that suit the system, and a philosophy throughout the club. These are all positives. And I'm going to say something I thought I'd never, ever, ever, ever say, right? I'm going to say something I thought I would never say. I've got to give praise to Daniel Levy for this, because Paratici brought in Simon Davies. Ange Postecoglou has been brought in by either Paratici or Levy. Levy oversees this. It's no coincidence that Ange plays the same football that the academy has been introducing over the past year. This is strategically planned. This isn't fluke. This isn't just a shot in the dark. This is planned. Now, it doesn't forgive Daniel Levy for the last 23 years, but the foundations of the academy, the alignment with the first team, if they can maintain this over the next 3 to 5 years with the right recruitment for the systems and people playing to win, I think as a Spurs fan, you should be super excited. I think as a Spurs fan, you should be very optimistic about what is going on. However, at the same time, I've got to say this, right? There's always a negative somewhere, isn't there? I spoke to one of the recruitment officers who I'm friends with in the club last night, and I said to him, how do you feel about all these changes and where it's going? I said to him, I feel quite positive. And he goes, yeah. I said, can you feel there's a change? Because I've been coming here for 10 years and I've never felt what I'm kind of seeing and feeling on this occasion. And he said, there's been a big change. He also admitted the last 3 years was rubbish. So I said to him, so are we going to become a real football club now? And his words were, you know what our chairman is like. You never know what he's going to do. So there's still a lack of confidence in the decision-making of the chairman when it comes to the big moments. Until Levy changes that, there'll never be, you know, the outcome that we want and the full belief of the staff. But in terms of the changes that have happened, academy and first team, there's a very, very good vibe at Tottenham. And we should be optimistic. It really is now going to come down to one thing and one thing only. Has Levy learnt his bloody lesson over the last 4 years? If he has learnt, I think big things are coming our way in the next 3 to 5 years. If he hasn't learnt, it's all going to come crashing down. It's going to be a disaster. And we're going to have mass riots at Tottenham from the fans. I can only see it going one or two ways. All right. So it was really good to meet Simon Davies. I think we've got a really good academy director. He's humble. He's got a wealth of experience. He's introduced a philosophy that we're desperate for. Watching the under 13s and 15s yesterday play football, honestly, the way they were pinging the ball around the back, feeding it into the middle, into the channels, it was like watching Ange. It was like watching Ange ball. And I'm thinking, they've only been doing it for a year, these kids. What are they going to be like in 4 or 5 years? We're going to have some serious players coming through that play the same system as what the first team is playing if they stick to what they're doing. We've got a brilliant academy director. All the coaches at Spurs team on board with the changes. The first team's playing good football. Everything at Tottenham right now is aligned and it's working. Of course, you're going to have bumps in the road. Of course, we're going to hit obstacles, but it's whether Daniel Levy now sees this through. The foundations are there. Academy, first team, players in the academy, players in the first team, recruitment, winning mentality. Come on, man. Surely we're going to get this right. Surely Daniel isn't going to screw this up. It was a breath of fresh air being in that academy yesterday. The new academy director, I've got nothing but good things to say about Simon Davies. I think he's fantastic. The plan that he outlined for me is just... And I'll tell you one thing he said that was really surprising, right? Simon Davies said, bear in mind, he spent 10 years at Man City. His words, you can ask Brian Daigle and you can ask Graham, they're my witnesses. He said yesterday, the technical development that he is seeing in the Spurs Academy is better than Man City. Just let that sink in. The technical development he's seeing in our academy under his stewardship, he's been there 1 year, is better than what he's seeing at Man City. Now, I said to him, are you just saying that because you're at Spurs? Or he said, no. The development is better. So we got to be optimistic. You know, I'm the most critical person when it comes to Tottenham, Levy, Donna Cullen, all these frauds that run the club, the academy not being good enough. I can't really criticize right now. I can only praise. And I will always give credit where it's due. And I'm going to credit Daniel Levy and I'm going to credit the board. Paratici has done a great job in terms of bringing in the right people who are doing the right work. And Postecoglou, I don't think there's a Spurs fan that can be unhappy or not really just overjoyed with what we're seeing. The recruitment seems to be right for the first team, but the recruitment for the academy is also good. They're only recruiting players into the academy that suits the system of how all the teams play. People, is it too early to say good vibes? Is it too early to say, you know, we're going to be great? Is it too early to just be super, super happy? I don't know. But look, I was there yesterday and I only saw good things. You know, a couple of months ago, I took Nick Collison and Phil P. I took them into the academy and there wasn't a conversation about winning. There wasn't a conversation about lifting trophies. The conversation was about what we care most about is which player stood out, which player was the best player on the day, not whether we won a trophy or whether we won a competition. That's not the conversation now. Now the conversation is, yeah, we want to develop Champions League quality players, but are we winning? Are we winning? And for me, winning, developing top players and playing good football, when you put those three together, what more do we want, right? What more do you want? Entertaining football, good players in the team and winning silverware, winning tournaments, winning trophies. I mean, the academy's got its act together. The first team's got its act together. The foundations are now there for success. The foundations have been put in place for success. It really is over to you, Daniel Levy, now, what you do with this. And that's where it's going to go. But yeah, good things, guys. Good things coming out from the club. And let's see what happens. If you've got any questions, put them in the chat. I'll answer some questions. I'm going to go to 7 o'clock, so I'll do 15 minutes of questions. And for sure, tomorrow, make sure you catch my video, The New Spurs Philosophy Explained by Coach Dell. I'm going to break it down for you, loads of visuals, and hopefully we can all learn a thing or two. So if you've got any questions, guys, put them in the chat. Just seeing if there's any questions. Brian Daigle and Stelios for new owners of Tottenham. I don't think the fan base will be happy with that. I can see a revolt. Big up to you as well, disabled team. How you doing? Big Ange has changed the club. I've got to be honest with you. Big Ange has changed the first team, but not the club. The club changes have come from above. Like I said, give credit where it's due. You've got to give credit to Daniel Levy and the board. They've brought about the changes. They've brought about the changes by putting the right people in place. Paratici, Simon Davies, the academy director, and Ange Postecoglou. Yes, Paratici is doing a good job. Yes, Ange Postecoglou is doing a great job. And yes, Simon Davies is doing a great job as well. But who hired them? Just as much as we criticize Daniel Levy for hiring the wrong people, firing them at the wrong time, I've got to praise the chairman for now. Okay. Comes with a caveat for now. Let's see what happens. A step in the right direction. Yes, it is. We've got to continue those steps though, right? There's no point taking one step forward if we're going to go 5 steps back. We've got to keep going forward now. Otherwise, like I said, it's just going to be a disaster. So we are doing a Man City with our youth system as well, pretty much. According to our academy director, we're actually doing better. According to him. Angela Yasu as well, big up. It's only 6 games. Calm down. Give it to the end of the season. Like I said, I'm talking about the infrastructure that's put in place, okay? This isn't about the first 6 games of the first team. It's about the alignment of academy, first team, and a philosophy running throughout. And it's what's actually happening and what they're saying on the inside, okay? I'm not getting carried away with anything. I've made it very clear. Let's see what happens, because this chairman, you never know. He's got to prove it. He's got to prove it. Pep does the same thing with their youth ball, plays Pep ball as well. Well, that's what we're doing as well now. Cold Shot, we're doing the same thing. This is so dope, been crying out for it. I agree, Reggae Squirrel. We've been crying out for it. We as Spurs fans have been talking about this for how long, right? We've been saying it for years. Been saying it for years. Hi, Stel. This is such a bit of great news that all the teams at it is great as long as the first team manager, whoever he may be, whether it's Ange or the next manager after Ange and the next manager after that manager, as long as they are hired based on them managing the same philosophy. There's no point having an identity if the first team manager doesn't match the identity. So recruitment of the first team manager is key to what we do going forward. Brighton model. I'm not familiar with the Brighton model, but if that's the case, then yes. Daniel Levy is a shameless old man. He said in fans forum, Tottenham is back. Well, we were never there in the first place, were we? Unless he's going back to the 60s. Maybe he's talking about the 60s. Well, I hope Levy recognises we must win. So that's a great question. I know the academy recognises it. And I know the academy, Simon Davies, I repeat, he clearly said to me and to the rest of the people in the room yesterday, there is no point developing great players and great teams if they can't win. What's the point of it? So he recognises it. I agree with you. I hope our chairman recognises that as well. He needs to back up Ange in January. Yeah, he's got to back him. He's got to back Ange and every manager thereafter. But we've got to recruit players that fit the system more than anything else. So if you look at Vicario, how much did we pay? 17 million. He fits the system. Mickey van der Ven, how much was he? 30 million. He fits the system. Udogie, I know he wasn't mega money, but he fits the system. So as long as we're hiring the right caliber of player for the system, and we've spoken about this in the past, but the fact that the academy director said it, that's big. That is massive. They've never spoken like this inside the club before. I've been going there for 10 years, 11 years. They've never spoken like this before. This is why I had to make this video, because I'm actually excited. And when am I excited? I'm always, this is shit, that's crap. Get them out, fed up of it. Listen, I'm optimistic, people. I'm optimistic. After Poch, we should have got an Ange, but yeah, we should have. We should have. Big up chat. Phil P in the house. Woo! Phil, remember the last time we went to the academy? It's all changed. Completely different mindset. Big up to Robbie in the chat. See change much different from last time. Yes. Yep, 100%. Are the under 21s and under teams also playing Ange Ball or just attack? No, they're playing Ange Ball. By the way, Ange Ball's slightly different because they're men. Academy football is slightly different because it's a different pressure, isn't it? When you're playing for the first team, you're earning mega money to do a job, and it's the pressure of winning. Academy football, it's a different pressure. Your pressure is to try and get a professional contract. So it's slightly different in that respect, Cold Shot. But in terms of the style of play, yes, they're all learning to play out from the back. They're all learning to beat different types of press, which I'm going to break down for you tomorrow. I'm going to get into all of it tomorrow. I'm even going to be on We Are Tottenham TV at 2 p.m. Tomorrow morning around about 9 a.m. I'm going to do a show on this. breaking it down. And tomorrow afternoon, at 2 p.m. UK time, I'm going to be on We Are Tottenham TV, breaking it down on their channel as well. All right, so I'll give you better insight then. Under 21 squad, under 21s are looking very good. I'm actually excited. Mario, be excited, brother. Be excited. Huge shout out to the chat. Woo! At last, we're going somewhere. Dean, fingers crossed, my man. Fingers crossed. Big up, Stel. Big up to you. Dyer out. Dyer is finished at Tottenham. He doesn't fit the system. I can't tell you too much about that, but I was with people last night. Dyer is done. He's not getting a new contract. I can guarantee you that Eric Dyer will not be at Spurs next season. Clip this. He's Levy-in. I'm not Levy-in. I'm Levy. I'm prepared to give you a chance, brother. I'm Levy prepared to give a chance. I'm not Levy-in. Not yet. Not yet. In the end, Fabio Paratici wasn't so bad. Also, a lot of good signs. Obviously, some miss. Paratici's done a good job. Paratici's done a good job. Do you think the change in wage expense to youth also makes us more competitive? 100%. The fact that we can pay young players more, we can attract better talent that suits the system. But, Phil, the key is us bringing in players that suit the system. Now, if there's a really, really good player that suits the system and we've got to pay more wages to get him, then, yeah, that's when what you've said makes sense. So, yeah, it does help. Of course it helps. Money always talks in football, right? Levy will never change. Corey boy, if that is the case, then I tell you what, there's going to be a riot at Tottenham in a couple of years' time because I don't see any fans taking any more shit from that guy. So we are going to find out. And train is right on track. Big up, Stel. Credit and critique. Call it as you see it. Yes, man. Look, I get a lot of stick for hating on Levy and hating on Enoch and turning against fans who defend it. But I've always said, I say it as I see it. I'm doing nothing but praise right now. I don't have a bad word to say right now. What I saw yesterday is a fundamental change. It is, I've not seen that in 10 years of going to the club. That's why I had to make this video. Things looking up for the long term. We've been buying some great young players too. Yeah, and they fit the system, Daniel. That's the most important thing. They fit the system of the philosophy of the academy, which is aligning with the first team. Big up Toxic. I think Arnie Slot will have done a great job with our starting 11. He's doing great in front of. Well, here's the thing. Ange will go one day, right? And this is one of the questions I asked. The next manager will be a De Zerbi, an Arnie Slot, a Pochettino, a Nagelsmann, someone that plays that style, that philosophy. So when they're interviewing the next manager, the conversation isn't going to be how much do you want, what's your CV like in terms of winning. It's going to be, can you prove to us what style of football you played? Can you prove to us how you brought in academy players into your first team? Can you prove to us this is how we play? This is the Tottenham way. Tell us what you've done that matches this. That's what the interview is going to be like. It's completely different. And this is why I'm saying I think we've got an actual good reason to be excited for once. It's really looking good for a strong future. Yeah, it's only been 1 year though, right? So let's not get carried away. But yes, from what I saw, yeah, it does look like a strong future. You had me up to that point. Big up, JP. Future always looks better for Spurs when Levy had been put in shadows of footballing decisions. I'm loving it right now at Spurs. Yeah. Too early, but things definitely go in the right direction. Correct. If we lose Saturday, it'll be doom and gloom again. Depends how we lose. Depends how we lose. If we lose because we capitulate and play like we did against Fulham in the Carabao Cup, then yeah, people are going to be asking questions. But if we play like we did against all the other teams in the Premier League this season and we lose, I think fans will just say, do you know what? Liverpool are just a better team. They've just got better players than us at the moment. And Klopp's been at Liverpool for what, 8 years, 7 years? Ange's been there 2 minutes. So to compare Ange to Klopp at this stage, I think is unfair on Ange. I don't think fans will moan. I think it depends how we lose, if we lose. But I don't think we're going to lose, by the way. I think we're going to get a draw. Although I am worried about Liverpool. And I'm going to break down my analysis on Liverpool on Friday night show. Check out that at 10 p.m. on Friday. All great news. Thanks so much, Joe. In the words of Daniel Levy, we've got our Tottenham back. We're going to find out in the next couple of years if we've got our Tottenham back. I still don't know what our Tottenham is yet. I know what they're doing now. But what was Tottenham? Is it Bill Nicholson's team? Is it Aero? Is it attacking football? I come back and look what happened to you, Stel. It's great. If Levy can't see and feel the change and know he's going to back it, then he's a bigger fool than we ever gave him credit for. Absolutely, man. Like I said, if he doesn't get this right, I think there's going to be riots. Remain calm and let it play out. Correct. Bloody hell, it took long enough. Mate, it's taken 23 years. We should have done this in the first 10 years. You're absolutely right, JJ. All them years wasted. This club, man. This fucking club. The news is giving me a stiff one. Well, you keep that stiff one in your pants, all right? Well, keep that in your pants. I have a question. Go for it. Where's the question? I'm waiting for your question. The bud tastes better than normal. Enjoy your Budweiser, my man. Terminate that dire contract. Like I've said, he won't be here next year. I promise you, mate. I had conversations last night. He won't be here. What's success for Spurs this season? It's hard to tell because the squad is thin. We've only just begun, right? So I think if Spurs get back into Europe, I think we've done well. I think getting back into Europe has to be top 6 for me is a realistic view. If we keep our players fit and Bentancur comes back and we buy 1 or 2 more good players in January, then I think top 4 will be in the race. I think we'll genuinely be in the top 4 race because we're not in Europe and we're at the Carabao Cup. We've only got 1 game a week. The players stay fit and we bring in a couple of good players. Boom. Top 4 could be on. Winning a trophy, I don't think we're going to win the FA Cup. I think there's too many good teams going for it. But the Carabao Cup was the one we should have gone for. But okay, that's old history now. Old news. Sounds good. Didn't our under-17s? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yeah. Great take, Stel. I concur on everything. Big up, Jorical, the man of wisdom that speaks the truth everywhere he goes. Do you see us challenging for titles in a few years? Yes, I do. If they keep what they've done and they build on it, yes, I do, William. I'm telling you, there's a fundamental shift inside the club. I've never seen it like that. Look, for me to be positive, something must have happened, right? When am I ever positive about this godforsaken club? It's been miserable for 23 years, man. Trophies will come as a matter of course if we're developing. If that winning mentality is installed, yes, Daniel. The winning bit is important. You know, you can train to lift heavy weights. Then you go to the Olympics. Have you trained to win the Olympic gold? There's a difference there. And the academy director is definitely installing that. I think with Ange, he is a proven winner. Whether he can do it at this level, we're going to find out. But also, Levy has to back him. Big up Aqua subs. What time is it? I'm going to go for a few more minutes and then I'm going to wrap it up, people. Thank you for watching. There's over 300 people watching. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know what time the video comes out tomorrow when I'm going to break down the philosophy of Tottenham Hotspur, the new philosophy, right? Give me a like, people. Appreciate it. Stixie, I am excited, Stel. Yeah, I think we've got good reasons to. Where does this leave the protesters? Well, we've got to keep the pressure on the ownership, but the protests are going to die off. They're still going to go on, but whilst Tottenham are in a good place, it's difficult to protest. I think what happens in the transfer windows as well will kind of lead the protest, but it's a difficult one, isn't it, Jeff? It's a difficult one. Are you now leaving? Nope. He's got to now deliver on what has been laid down. He's now got to take what is in place and he's got to now deliver on it. If he delivers, I can't criticise. Do you think we'll have Ange for long? Look, the man doesn't leave until he's delivered success in terms of trophies, right? And I kind of think he really likes it here. I think this is the biggest club. Unless Bayern Munich, Real Madrid or Barcelona come in for him, then yeah, he's going to stay with us. Where's he going to go? Unless a massive, massive club comes in, he'll stay with us. But even then, he seems like a humble guy. He doesn't seem like he's this ego that needs to go and manage the biggest and the best. This guy's worked at small clubs his whole life. We're the first club that's actually of a decent big size in a big league, because Celtic's a massive club, but they're not in a big league. We're in a big league. You know, this is he's reached that top level of his career. This is the furthest he's gone in his career in terms of what he's managing. So, yeah, I think he will stick around unless Levy fucks him off. But then like I said, if Levy does that, there'll be a riot at the club. How many youngsters will get first team minutes this season? I think injuries will dictate that. I think injuries will dictate it. Hi, Lisa. How you doing? My sister. Okay, Murray's saying hello to someone. Nothing is fixed yet. So much work to do. If this Madison injury keeps him out, you'll see a big difference straight away. That's how big. No, listen, I agree. But Ange Postecoglou said that we're at the beginning of the journey, right? We're at the beginning of what he wants to build. And the academy director's only been in place for 1 year. So the changes at the academy have only been in place for 1 year as well. So you're right. We are at the beginning. We are. We should praise Levy for this so he has confidence in his approach. But we also, Jorical, don't want him to think, job done, he can now relax. Because you know what he's like. If we get top 4, job done. So we should praise him to encourage him to keep doing this, but we can't let him relax because we know if this man relaxes, he'll just take us for granted. It's it's a difficult one. Recruitment. What's the question? Fan form showed a very weak and scared chairman, which is why I don't think he can afford to screw this up. Can see Liverpool coming in for Ange after the Klopp. I think they're going to go for De Zerbi. I think De Zerbi is the one that more clubs are looking at than Ange right now because he's doing it on an absolute budget and they've got a similar data model to what Liverpool had. So I think it's more a case of Zerbi scared the fans. It will take some time. Correct. Blissy, how are you doing? Hi, still. At what age are the players ready? There's no age that a player's ready because everyone's an individual. Some players are ready at 16. Wayne Rooney was ready at 16. Spurs typically preferred a player. Spurs traditionally have thought that once a player's 21, that's when they're ready. And that's kind of what happened with Harry Kane. But if you're exceptional and you've flown through the system and at 19, you're just brilliant. I mean, Pape Sarr, how old is he? 19, 20? There's no age. It's down to the individual. We had serial winning managers that couldn't do jack shit with Spurs. They all had excuses. This Ange chat is very early days. There's a feeling that the fit is good. I don't think those managers were the problem. It's Spurs weren't prepared to do what those managers needed. So I disagree on that bit. However, where you say this fit is good, I agree with that because Spurs just aren't a club that's going to go and spend, £100 million on one player. We're not going to do that. Finally, cohesive philosophy in the club. Yes, Mari. Cohesive philosophy, correct. Injuries are my biggest concern. Yeah, look, we know the squad depth is weak. But look, you just got to look at it. The foundations. We're at the foundation phase. Just remember that. We're at the foundation phase. What was the football like under Conte and Jose? Look, Jose came in to win us a trophy. That was his job, to win a trophy. He got us to a final. He did his job, but he was sacked before he could complete his job. Conte got us back into the top 4, but the problem with Conte was he wanted the kind of players that Spurs just weren't going to get. So they shouldn't have hired him in the first place. If you're going to hire Conte, you've got to do what he says. And this is what I mean. There's been a fundamental shift in the club now. It's more about a cohesive philosophy. What Spurs are doing now is what they should have done with Poch. They should have done it back then. But I've got nothing against Conte and Jose, guys. I still like them as managers. I still think they weren't backed properly. But I'm loving what I'm seeing with Ange as well. I'm happy with the manager we've got. I think he's doing a great job. We will make marquee signs alongside this, or will it come down to fit? It's about the player fitting the system. But if the player fits the system, then there'll be a marquee signing. Look at Vicario. We were all angry that we never signed Raya. I don't know about you, but I thought Vicario was better than Raya in the North London derby. So maybe, buying players that fit the system is the right way to do it. It's worked for us so far. Van der Ven, Udogie, Maddison, they all fit the way we play. And everyone's talking about them. We must still get behind the team after our first defeat. Mate, we must get behind Ange the whole way. 14 FA Cups is our goal. Yeah, but that didn't help you on Sunday when you played us at your home ground, did it, Guna? Big up Mari, Hermano. Hope you're doing well. Big up everyone in the chat. My brother Stelios, everyone as well. Thanks for yesterday. Oh, mate, you're welcome. We had a good day yesterday. Who would have thought the biggest Levy outers allowed into HQ? Oh, if only they knew. Maybe the stadium is now paying dividends. Signing the right players is the key, not so much the stadium. The stadium helps because of extra revenue, and it's a good selling point, isn't it? Telling a player, do you fancy playing in the stadium? I mean, if you're a player that excites you. I still just jumped on and missed the chat. What's the news? Are you going to have to go back and watch it, Derek? You'll see everything. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap it up because I've been going on long enough. Super chat from the Spurs fan. Come you Spurs, great football. Now let's get some trophies in. Spot on. Thank you for the super chat, the Spurs fan. Guys, I know there's loads and loads of comments, but I've got to wrap it up. As a Celtic fan, I'm jealous. I will swap Ange for Brendan. Mate, you told us, though. You warned us. Celtic fans said to us, you don't know how lucky you are you've got Ange. I think as a Spurs fan, I'm delighted we've got Ange, but the academy, the philosophy, if the club's going in that universal way of doing things now, that's the bit that excites me more, because that means whatever happens with Ange, it's not just going to be a flash in the pan. There's some longevity that's going to be put in place, which is what we need. So what happens still if Ange is successful? We thought he had to back Mourinho and Conte. He didn't back. Well, again, this is why I'm saying I'm not Levy in, because I need to see what Levy does next, Joe. I need to see what Levy does next. If he doesn't back Ange, then it has to be a full-scale riot. It has to be, because there's no other way after this. It can't be an excuse again. It simply can't. It doesn't make sense. 75 million he has in January, still 3-5. Yes, his contract, his bare minimum 2x2 value than other Wolves. I guess they're talking about a player. I must have missed something. Guys, listen, tomorrow, please make sure you tune in about 9 a.m. The new Spurs philosophy explained by Coach Dale. I'm going to break down in visual what I've been informed, what was shown to myself and others yesterday. I'll be on We Are Tottenham TV at 2 p.m. as well to go through it all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Big up yourselves. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. And I will catch you tomorrow. Mari is going live tonight at 9:30. Mari's Love Lounge. Make sure you tune into that. I'll jump on that show at some point, because I said tomorrow I'll jump on because he might have some questions about what I learned and what I have been told yesterday. So, people, peace. Look after yourselves. Check out Mari's show tonight. I'll be on tomorrow. And we go from there. Take care.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.